Islam, Shalom, Hola, Aloha, Bonjour, Assalamu Alaikum, Osio. This your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moore, coming to you live in full effect. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell down below so you can be notified whenever I'm dropping new content. Leave a comment, interact with me. Thank you. I really do appreciate the viewership. Let's jump into another one. Hey, I just had to make a video about this. You know, the Met Gala just happened, and a lot of people are talking about it. It's just wild how these celebrities, these influencers, these so-called rich, wealthy people are just flaunting their wealth, flaunting everything they have in front of us while the world is pretty much burning down around us. Like, there's so many issues that 31 million that was raised could really go to actually help communities and help better the freaking planet. Like, the celebrities who allegedly went to space, what a farce, what a lie. Come on. And then even before that, those millionaires, billionaires who went in a submarine and like allegedly perished at the bottom of the ocean. Come on, such a display of fragrant wealth and just disregard for the common man and struggle. I have some videos that I'm going to show you, a few clips. Let me know how I'm doing down below. Like, share, subscribe. But we're going to get into it. Let me know how I'm doing.
I don't want to talk about 100 men versus gorilla, bro. Let's talk about 340 million people versus 10 billionaires. And how they blowing us out the water. How they beating us a whole bunch of billions to zero.
Usury is the worst of all crimes, but you wouldn't look at a place like Germany, because all we know about Germany is what they told us about Germany. Mr. Evil, Hitler, yeah, right, okay. Nothing to see there. Yeah, there is something to see there. Germany was on its knees in a worse position than us. Way worse. Their money was worth nothing. It took a wheelbarrow of Deutschmarks to buy a loaf of bread. Germans were starving. 6 million unemployed, 2 million homeless. You could go to Berlin and buy a mother and daughter for sex. Bestiality was going on. Lesbianism and homosexuality. All of that was going on. In 1933, a man named Adolf, and this is where I gotta say it, there's a lesson there. This is why I say it. As Jesus said, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." In 1933, Judea declares war on Germany. Adolf Hitler was the only popularly democratically elected leader in all of Europe. Winston Churchill wasn't. None of them were. He's only just come to power in a coalition government. Judea declares war on Germany. 14 million Jews of the world unite calling for the destruction of Germany. How many people know that? That might be relevant. That might be relevant. If Judea declares war on Germany, that might be relevant. Did Judea declare war on Palestine? Oh, they say Hamas. What are they doing? They're genociding my family over there. The same Judea, the Jewish state of Israel. We're not allowed to say that. When Adolf came to power, 6 million unemployed, 2 million homeless, crime off the charts, pedophilia rampant, debauchery, and the sexual enslavement of humanity. Berlin was the moral cesspool capital of the world. Within 5 years of taking power, this bankrupt, starving nation had the highest wages in Europe, 6 weeks mandatory vacation on cruise ships that weren't allowed into this country because the British did not want British people to see how good the Germans had it. All of that he achieved, and he outlawed usury. Adolf Hitler outlawed usury. You know who else did that? Oh, a guy named Muammar Gaddafi did that. Oh, shit, something bad happened to him. John F. Kennedy did. Oh, shit, he got shot in the head too.
When did Irish people become white in America?
Go for it, John. When did the Irish become white? And how long have you been white, John?
As a recently visibly white guy, it's a complicated history. W.E.B. Du Bois made a famous statement about the condition of blacks in America in 1890, early 1920s, and indicated they were the poorest in all of America, except for the Irish immigrants, who were the poorest. And they were called Black Irish. and were despised by all the other immigrants who had already come in there, except the blacks at the time. And the Irish were able to scrape by on the generosity of the black people. Once their economic condition surpassed that, they no longer used that phrase and became white.
There have been numerous instances of groups becoming white in the United States. The Italians, Jews, Eastern Europeans as well. But there's been a hard barrier for black people, and this is what I think gets to anti-blackness specifically as a barrier that people can't cross. Black people don't get to become white in the United States, but lots of other people will get to become white, or white presenting, to use the old South African terminology, honorary white, even if you're not actually white, except for black people.
I remember a debate between James Baldwin and William Buckley in London. Because Buckley's argument was, okay, you blacks, if you just do what other people have done, you will be thriving economically and politically speaking. And Baldwin says, okay, well, actually, that is possible if we manage to change the color of our skin. Because of the color of our skin, you don't let us vote. You don't let us live in the neighborhood where we wanted to live, etc., etc. Yeah. So this is a way to say that, of course, passing is possible for a certain number of groups, but it is not something that is available to the majority of black people in the United States. And that is the case still today.
Tapping into that sunken place.
Good to see another brother around here.
And I'm in the scene, I turn around with that glass.
Yes, of course it is.
I'm like, this is the scariest shit I have ever been a part of. And this like social strata we live in, it benefits you to be in a sunken place. The way that the system is set up, you actually are rewarded for retreating into this false identity.
This dude is from Brooklyn, huh? He didn't dress like this.
And when you're black in a white environment, what that often means is your identity is stripped from you, taken from you, and replaced with this identity that is something that has been manufactured.
I find that the African American experience for me has been, for the most part, very good.
You know that feeling. You know, that was one of the first times you were able to show people what it feels like to be black and navigate the world.
We can't keep letting Hollywood tell our stories. We have to tell our own stories.
I was auditioning. Thug number 1. Thug number 2.
For slaves,
prostitute. There's always the hustler.
Illiterate basketball players.
Mary had a little lamb.
The fog.
The only narrative that they understand of black life is drug addict, drug dealer, gang member.
I was the hottest black actor in the world after Boys in the Hood. There were people clamoring to work with this young sensation as long as he did the roles they wanted him to do, which were street kids.
I had been in this thing that is a masterpiece of American cinema, and nobody gave a shit. They really didn't give a fuck.
I auditioned for my first pimp part. My mother's all proud. Be the best pimp you can be. The whole church is praying for me.
Let's pray that Brother Robert gets the role of Silky Good Dick. The film is called Hoes on the Stroll. It sounds like a musical.
And then that's when the filmmaker was born. I said, man, we can't let Hollywood tell our stories. We got to tell our own stories, dude. They'll make us do anything and everything, and these images travel around the world.
They have a perception of us that ultimately is false.
Been studies on this. Local news overrepresents black folks as perpetrators, overrepresents white folks as victims. So the message that gets sent is they're dangerous, and specifically to you. They are not only bad people, they're going to hurt you. So therefore, we want to keep them on that side of town. We want to keep their children in those schools over there. We don't want to work around them. We don't want to live around them, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that message comes through loud and clear in the way that media represents people of color. Whenever we, thinking about Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old child that was shot in Cleveland by police, when that happened, what did they do? The first news story in Cleveland that made a big splash was about Tamir Rice's parents and the history of domestic abuse and criminality among his parents, not about the cop that killed him. We talk worse about black victims than we do white killers. What did we say about Ted Bundy? Oh, he was so smart and he was so quiet and he always seemed so nice. Every time one of these white boys goes and shoots up the school, what do we say? We had no idea he was going to do this. So we talk better, we have more sympathy for white folks who commit mass murder, bury bodies under the house, cook them up in a soup pot and eat them, right? Than we do black folks who were killed by police. We start digging for every bad thing they ever did. We want to know if they had a juvenile record. We want to know if they'd ever been arrested. That's what the media does. And until that changes, I'm afraid white folks will stay in denial and it'll be very hard for us to move forward, whether we're talking about cops or just average everyday folks.
How do you get into a fraternity?
So the fraternities, they recruit you. They see you and they say, okay, you know what? Like, we feel like you represent what we down
Then
with.
after that, what happens?
After that, you got to go through a process of
Degrading,
being hazed.
Okay, what's hazing?
Hazing is, all right, first you have to learn literature.
All right, fuck all the literature.
All right, but
all right, but let's get to the literature because in a gang, you gotta learn literature.
Absolutely.
You better know that lingo. You
better
heard?
know it.
You better know that
Absolutely.
lingo. So that's two. Our literature. We got recruits. We got literature. That's two. Go ahead.
Now you're getting hazed.
Now you get hazed. Break down what is hazing?
Beating you.
Is that physical?
That's
they physically beating you?
Yeah.
How do you become a gang member? You getting jumped in. 31 seconds. They jumping on that ass. You heard?
Absolutely.
But when they talk about fraternities, they turn everything different. Now it's hazing instead of a gang initiation. You heard?
Yeah.
You digging now the benefits of it is all pretty much the same thing. You dig? It's just that most of the people inside of fraternities are legal. They lawyers. They have the other things, and they but it's no different from what
it's definitely no
you heard.
different.
Each one teach one. I mean, put you on to what I got going on and shit like that. And if you look up the definition of what a fraternity is and a definition of what a gang is, it's pretty much the same definition. You heard.
Yeah.
But that goes to show you the difference between a hacker and a scammer. These kids inside my neighborhoods are incredibly smart. They are hacking the shit out the system. But because they come from inner city communities that we call ghettos, they call them scammers. Now when the white people do it and they get all this Bitcoin money doing the same thing my young niggas are doing, oh, they're hackers.
Right.
You heard?
And
You
they go
understand
to
the
jail
difference?
on
You heard?
blue collar crime type
Yeah,
shit.
it's the same difference between a murder and assassination and shit like that. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, this is how society plays on words and things like that when it don't work in their favor and shit like that. And I don't want to get too deep in it because I don't want people to keep going at me on the media, oh, you ignorant for saying, but as ignorant as I am, y'all niggas better read.
I know I'm not the only one who saw that guy on my For You page that was a grave digger, and he said that he did it as a side hustle, and he basically was talking about his experience and what happened and how he feels like all of this is a scam or all what's going on with the bodies at graveyards. I've always felt like this was weird, but let me just tell y'all. So basically he said that he decided to take on a part-time job as a grave digger, and it was paying good money, so he decided to go ahead and do it. Now, at one of the jobs, at one of the cemeteries he was at, they were using like the little crane thing to lower or lift up the body out of the ground. And it was uneven. It was not coming out evenly. So they had to manually get it out. Now, he had to help. It was another guy, and I believe it was one other dude. He said that when he lifted up the casket, it was light as a feather. Like, I'm talking about, it was so light that it doesn't even make sense. He said to one of the guys that worked there for a while, he said, "Why is it so light?" The guy said, "You don't want to talk about, you don't want to get into that." What is that supposed to mean? He was basically like, he had chills. He was like, that's all he said. Well, come to find out, he posted this video, got a lot of views, got a lot of traction, and his job contacted him and said that he needs to take that video down or he's going to lose it. And he also feels like he's in danger for his life because of hearing that information. Now, he wasn't even told the whole story, but the crazy thing is, where are all these bodies going? There's only so much land and only so much space on these graveyards, and there's so many people that passed away, especially during COVID, right? And they had talked about this during COVID, about how they used ice boxes to store bodies because it was so many people that passed away. And it makes you think, if these cemeteries are only so big, and why are they not opening up new cemeteries? Why don't you hear about new cemetery lots being opened up? Stuff like that. It makes you really wonder what is going on with these bodies and what are they doing with them.
Right? See, like some of those videos really hit close to home. Like sometimes you could just see between the lines. Like I'm telling you, the matrix, the artificial matrix is cracking. It's starting to get easier and easier to decipher what's real from what's not, you know? So a childhood friend of mine was talking maybe like a week or two ago, but we had a conversation. We were talking about the rise of like NPCs and bots. I know I haven't been talking about this in a good little while, but it's like sometimes when you go out and you just keep running into the same kind of issues over and over and over, or you start to notice the same type of patterns that just keep repeating themselves, it's like the programming in the system is becoming so basic. Once you can decipher the code, it's just so easy to read it. Deciphering like what's real and what's not, who's real and who's not, who's part of the programming. Like these bad actors, fam. It's like people are just being hired to play a role, just to fill a part, just to play their part in the system, just to keep the wheels turning, just to keep the cogs moving, fam. It's like sometimes it's just so easy to see, and other times it's just it fits so perfectly you may not even notice it, but just don't let it go over your head, you know? Hopefully you can see, hopefully you getting these messages that I'm trying to let you, that I'm just trying to make you more aware of, fam. Like I can't be your eyes, I cannot be your ears. All I can do is hopefully let you know what to look for, what to listen out for. But you know, I can't see it for you, I can't hear it for you, I can't decipher the code for you, fam. I can't do that. I really wish I could. I really wish I could just endow or impart the experience, the knowledge that I have onto anyone I choose to, you know? That would be a great power to have, just to be able to endow knowledge upon whoever, experiences, collective experiences upon whoever you want at will. You know what I'm saying? Like ignorance could be abolished, ignorance could be eradicated if it was that simple. But everybody has their own timing. Like everything happens in divine timing, fam. Hopefully you can see the messages. Hopefully the ancestors, your ancestors can really just give you the wisdom you need to just let you know exactly where you fit and how you can break out of this system, fam. It's like just sometimes it seems so difficult because the system is designed to keep you locked into it, to keep you distracted, and to keep you playing that exact role that they have assigned to you, fam. But we are the architects, we are the authors of our own story. There's this new term, this new phrase that's going around that a lot of the young people are using. They're saying what's it called, main character energy. That's the phrase. I can't lie, I actually like it. People are saying, oh, this person thinks they're the main character, or they have that main character energy. It's like people are really, like, in their own way, they're letting you know that it's all by design. It's all a role. It's all a play. Grand design. It's like everybody has their role to play, but you have to figure out the role you want to play. You just can't be beholden to the slot that you've been given, the label or the title that has been placed upon you by somebody who doesn't even know you, by people who were alive 100+ years ago, because that's how a lot of these systems have been put into place, have been brought into fruition. They make plans hundreds of years in advance in order to shape our reality, to shape what the future that we can perceive is possible, fam. But these people are no more powerful, they're no more enlightened than you or I. They cannot control the fate of the planet any more than you can yourself, fam. We all have the God-given ability to do so. But not everyone has the ability to create. You have to be very, very aware of that. Everybody does not have the ability to create. There's a lot of entities out here that purely have the ability to only manipulate, to only alter, only to change the form of something, but not to create on its own, fam. I saw that movie Sinners, and I just want to make a quick note about that, but I don't want to do any spoilers, but just that last bit I was saying about the collective knowledge and everybody playing their role, and how everybody cannot create. Everybody doesn't have that ability to create, but there are entities out here that can see that ability in others, and all they want to do is to seek to control it, seek to manipulate it, seek to alter it to their purposes, for their agenda, for their goals, and to their ends. I don't want to make this video too long. I have a few more clips I want to show you. Let me know how I'm doing down below. Once again, this is your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American More. Peace.
That's NPCs. Those are non-playable characters who are existing within our realm. Those are the people who are not aware. Now, some people might be aware. It just might not be their path yet or their time yet, and then they could become aware. But there are a lot of people who are roaming around us at all times, and those are non-playable characters. They are just existing in the realm around us to kind of be like bystanders as we go about this life journey or this life test. And in the movie The Truman Show, that's what he's exposed to. There are NPCs all over while he's wandering around, and they're just to keep you occupied. That's all it is. The NPC is to drain your energy and keep you occupied. And that's how there's a lot of people who are around you to do that. I mean, this is a perfect example. You say the skies are being sprayed and they're altering our weather, and the other person looks up and says, oh my gosh, it's cloudy. It's been a cloudy day today. And you're like, what on earth are you talking about? Can you not see the planes? You can't. NPCs, non-playable characters who are just inserted into the realm to exist amongst you and really confuse you and mess with your mind. That's all it is. It's like MK Ultra on steroids.
The human brain was never designed for this much stimulation. It was never designed to take in this much input at once. I don't think y'all realize how sick this science is. How many of y'all have watched or ever seen an episode of Cocomelon? Okay, so you can go on the internet and you can look up the makers of Cocomelon talking about how they use data science to make the show addictive to children. So what they do is they have babies that they'll bring in when they're doing the production process, and they'll sit them down and have them watch. At any moment, they have algorithms watching their attention. Any part that isn't paying attention, they edit and make it addictive. It's a reason why your kids love Cocomelon, and it has nothing to do with how much it's helping them develop. It's actually bad for them because the saturation of colors is bad for them. The constant context switching blocks their development of their critical thinking skills and the slowness of their brain, and you're developing brains with ADHD. And for them, they don't care. They would sell your firstborn child for an increase in ad spend, because these are advertising companies building these algorithms. These are not people who care about your children becoming good citizens. They are for the sole purpose of gaining profit and extracting profit off of you. But you as an end consumer don't know that. You just slap it on and think, geez, I get a break from my kid for a minute. And I think the thing for us is we have to ask, why do we want breaks from our children? Because that's the root of the problem.
19 keys, and this is high level conversation.
Who knows what this is?
Potatoes.
Potato? So you think these are potatoes? Not potatoes, though.
I don't know.
Do you know what this is? No? Who knows what tomato ketchup is? Yeah, that's what it's made out of.
Oh, tomato ketchup? I know that one.
The test I did with the kids today was shocking. Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is?
Broccoli.
What about this? A good old friend. Do you know what this is, honey?
Celery.
No. What do you think it is, darling?
Onion.
Onion, no. Immediately you get a really clear sense of, do the kids know anything about where food comes from? Who knows what that is?
A pear.
A pear, no.
A turnip.
No? Okay, I'm gonna give you the first word. Egg.
Egg. Egg salad.
The answer today was no.
This entire white object, that's the nylon, that's the microplastic.
So that is nylon in human blood. Most likely from, I'm guessing, clothes or carpet or something like that?
Textiles of some kind, probably.
So what kind of polymers are you seeing right now?
The nylon that we've seen today, polystyrene, polyethylene, polypropylene, polyethylene terephthalate.
In every sample, we found microplastics. It ranges from maybe 1 or 2 to like 11, 12, 13. So that's quite
11
a lot.
microplastics in a quarter of the sample, and you're only taking 10 milliliters. That's a lot. That's a pretty big plastic burden.
I guess it's inevitable these days.
What if I told you that some of the most influential and powerful people in the world who are controlling this whole thing, this whole show, know what I'm about to say and are actively protecting themselves against it, but it's not talked about in the mainstream? Wait until you hear this. Breaking news. You may think this is just another post about microplastics, but I just found out something about chewing gum. I don't know how many people know this. So yes, we're finding microplastics in human brains now, 3 to 5 times higher than previously thought. A spoonful of microplastics, and apparently the brain has 30 times more microplastics than other organs. I guess it's getting right in the blood. That's the problem with nanoplastics. They're so small they can go right in your blood, they go in your brain, they bypass the blood-brain barrier. But apparently, gum could be a major source of microplastic exposure. Chewing gum may come with more than just flavor. It can be delivering microplastics straight into your mouth. Because the gum base is made of plastic. UCLA researchers found that a single stick can release up to 3,000 plastic particles into your saliva, especially within the first 2 minutes of chewing. If you're a regular gum chewer, that could mean ingesting 30,000 microplastics a year just from gum. Now, there's actually a lot more I want to say about microplastics, the problem with it, and how to detox it. But believe it or not, this is an extremely censored topic, almost as if there's a concerted effort to make sure there's a lot of these things inside of you. But if you want more information that I can't share in video form, just comment info below. I'll send you a DM, how to detox, and the major problem with getting exposed to all these freaking plastics. Comment info below and then check your DMs.
You ain't get the... Your blood down there worth more than gold. Let's get into this video.
If you are the one of the people that held off from getting vaccinated, your blood is worth its weight in gold. The demand for pure blood, that means without being COVID vaxxed, in 16 countries is skyrocketing. Why?
Damn.
Unvaccinated patients who require transfusions can now access pure blood thanks to a new service called Safe Blood Donations. Safe Blood Donation, which currently has members in at least 16 countries, has the long-term goal of opening blood banks that provide its members with unvaccinated plasma. According to George Della Pietra, the demand for pure blood has skyrocketed globally. A peer-reviewed study in Italy found that 94% of the people who experienced side effects after receiving the mRNA vaccine had abnormal blood and contained foreign matter 1 month after the vaccination. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Did I just read that correctly? 94% of the people who experienced side effects after receiving the vaccine had abnormal blood and contained foreign matter 1 month after vaccination. The surgeons believe that the vaccine makers should provide an explanation as to what is within the shots and why those components are present. And in doing so, the demand for pure blood is skyrocketing. That means that if you held off for whatever reason, I know some couldn't, and I get that, but if you are the one of the people that held off from getting vaccinated, your blood is worth its weight in gold. Pure blood, stand up. Pure blood, stand up and unite. We knew this day was coming.
I'll make sure y'all share for part 2.